Are you singing that house song? Michelle's got this house music stuck in her head. And hey, what's up, duck hunters? What's good? One of you duck hunters asked me to make a video about selecting your broker, right? So if you're new with apartment locating as a new real estate agent, and you're in the process of selecting a new broker, there are definitely several things to look for. So, I'm glad you guys asked about this. This makes for a fantastic video topic. By the way, guys, I really appreciate when you leave comments below and give me new video topics, right? So if you have any insight or you're wondering about something and if it's profitable, chances are I've already done it since I've been in this industry for 5 years. So I'd love to give you guys information. Just keep on dropping those video ideas and questions for me to answer in the comments below. That would be fantastic. And if you don't mind giving this video and a bunch of other of my videos a thumbs up, it helps the YouTube algorithm so we can rank and convert more people to become duck hunters and join the family so we can all hunt some ducks together and have a good time. Anyhow, guys, so let's talk about selecting your first broker, right? You don't want to just go to whoever broker that you're talking to. You want to interview some. You want to interview at least, well, basically as many as possible, right? So you're going to have a checklist. So let's talk about the checklist that you need to understand when selecting a broker, because there are some critical things, right? Number one is going to be the broker agent split, right? So the thing is, this is how much money out of your total gross commissions that actually gets paid out to your broker, right? So to give you an example, if you're on a 50-50 split, which is pretty typical for real estate agents, like if you're a realtor, right, and your broker's providing you an office space and a lot of leads, usually I see like 50-50 or 60-40 splits, right? So that means if you earn $10,000 for the month, right, and you're at a 60-40 split, that means $4,000 goes over to your broker. You don't pay taxes on that $4,000 since they take it goes right off the top. So then you're left with $6,000, and that's what you pay taxes on, right? So that would be a 60-40 split. A 50-50 split would be, $10,000, $5,000 to you, $5,000 to your broker. That's way too much, by the way, duck hunters. So the number one thing is obviously how much money is this broker taking away from me, right? So a couple things will justify the split, in my opinion, right? So if the broker is providing you an office, right, where you can store your work belongings, etc., right, and the office gets locked and cleaned. So, if you have an office space, I guess you can justify paying a little bit more to your broker, right, if they're providing you an office location. This is important because if you're interviewing some brokers and they have an office for you or a desk for you, this is referred to as a desk fee, right, this part of the split. A giantly important factor is this company, is that building, is that location actually getting walk-ins, right? Because walk-ins are people that organically, naturally will walk into the office because it's located like right off the access road, right? So you can then justify paying a little bit more to a broker if you've vetted the location and it is off of an access road and it's easily visible, so that way you're getting organic walk-ins, right? Never ask the broker, like, how many walk-ins do you guys get on a monthly basis? Because they're probably just not going to keep it real with you duck hunters, right? And so, they're always going to, round up, right? So what you need to look out for is there are a lot of brokerages within locations. What you don't want to do is pay a higher than normal broker split because of a desk fee, and then it's like behind buildings, right? So how in some storefronts, it's like some stores are right off the access road and then other stores are behind those buildings and no one knows it's there. So you don't want to lease, you don't want to get sponsored by a broker that's in a poor location that's not exactly right off the access road and easily viewable. So how do you determine that, right? Just drive around yourself, right? So then Google all these brokerages, the ones you're considering, and go actually drive there with your car and drive around. And it's like, if it was hard for you to spot them out, it's going to be even harder for clients, right? So that's how you vet it, right? There's no other real way, right? I guess you can look on Google Maps or Google Earth, but that's actually a solution. So you could do that too, or go drive there. So look out for the walk-ins, the organic traffic, right? Because these are leads that no one pays for, that you can just, if you show up a lot, you can work these leads for free. So that is important, right? That's kind of justifies the split. Now, the other thing is the building has to look nice, right? Because if you are scheduling office appointments and you're thinking about escorting, it's never a good idea. If you've seen my other video on why I talk about why you should never escort, it's never a good idea to schedule office appointments. But if sometimes it's nice when you start off, right? There is some value, like within your first 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It is kind of cool to do office appointments because you're really like submerged into the apartment locating real estate world, and then you're training yourself and you're getting more used to talking to people face to face. So, I mean, you could argue that there is some value in scheduling appointments, at least for your first month in real estate. But I mean, once you guys get comfortable, just watch my other video where I'm like, this is why you need to stop escorting forever, because it just doesn't make sense. You'll never earn $10,000 or more part-time if you escort. It's just not how this business works at all, right? No one's going to argue that. So after a while, like after a month, you need to stop escorting, right? That's why I was like, having a desk fee in an office space, I mean, it's kind of valuable, I guess, but not really, because the whole job, if you're a duck hunter, you need to be working remote. That's how you make the most amount of money safely without driving around, and everything works better, right? And then you're happier because you're not like going out to Class C properties where it's ugly and now you feel bad for the day, right? You're not having to like risk your life when it's raining, and drive around, right? A lot of accidents happen when people are following you or you're following them. So it's just better to work remotely. So that's why it's like, okay, if your broker's going to charge you a higher broker agent split because of some desk, it's like you don't even need that anyways. So okay, so then that's number one, is the organic walk-ins. What's the second thing you want to look for, right? The second thing is payment, right? You really need to focus and look into their invoicing system and their collections department, right? Because guys, if you're making over $10,000 a month, that's great, but not if it's going to take you 4 or 5, 6 months to collect your checks. That's not cool. That's not how you hunt ducks in the right way, right? Because think about it. I mean, that was an extreme example. A realistic example would be like 2 months, right? 2-3 months. That's a long time to collect one check, right? So if you're making $10,000 every month, but it's taking you an additional month because their collections department is not optimal, then it's like, okay, you didn't even really make $10,000 that month, right? Because it's like it's taking you a whole another month to collect it, so it's like $5,000 a month. So guys, think about timing. That's a humongous part, right, of when selecting a broker. So the way you vet that is you simply just ask them, hey, what does your collections department look like? How many employees or how many staff do you guys have collecting for us, right? Because guys, if you go to an office with 15 agents or 20 agents or more agents, I mean, they need to at least have 3 people or more collecting for them, right? If not, it doesn't matter what they tell you. Oh, we have Cindy, right? She's our one collection person. She does a really good job, but there's 20 agents there. That's just, it's hogwash, right? They're just BSing you because they're trying to sponsor you, right? So if the company has 1 collections agent, 2 collection staff, right, working for their collections department, and they have 20 agents or more, that's not enough. So it's like, expect to get paid not as quick, right? So I would like at least 3. It would be cool if there was like 5 people collecting, right? Because collections is a real factor with apartment locating. It's easy to make money with apartment locating, but a really important part is how are you going to collect your money, right? So look out for the collections department, right? If they don't have 5 people or so, or at least 3, pass on it, because I want to get paid fast. I don't know about you duck hunters, but I like my money quick. I like to visit the bank a lot. So that's the second thing, is the collections department, right? The third thing is look over the contract that you sign. You don't want to be held down for any amount of time at all, right? If a broker is like, oh, when you sign this contract, you agree to stay sponsored for 6 months or 1 year. If there's any kind of language like that, bounce, right? Because that broker is selfish and they're in it for themselves. They're not really there to support you, in my opinion, right? Some brokers are probably going to not like this video if it ever gets shared, but I'm just keeping it real, telling you guys how it is, right? Because I know how brokers think. I've been managers, I've been recruited by other companies a couple times in my career where they wanted me to manage, and so, you know, I've talked to owners, I've talked to brokers, and I know how this industry works, right? So if there's any kind of language where it's like, you need to be here for a year, you can't go somewhere, we don't want to train you and then you go somewhere else. If there's any kind of language like that, bounce, okay? The other thing is, in the contract, there's something called like check holding periods, like pending periods. So in a lot of brokerage firms, it's like, okay, you know, they collect the check for you. You made 10,000 that month. They collect the checks, right? But now there's something like a pending period, right? Where the brokerage gets to keep your 10K for that month for like up to 5 business days. And what does that translate into, right? Because no one's writing checks Saturday and Sunday. So it's like a week, basically 8 days. So then there's like an additional in-house brokerage 8-day hold on your money. That's a lot of time, you know? And so if there's any kind of like, oh, we hold your checks for 3 days, we hold your checks for a week after we get them. The reason that's happening is because the broker wants to be able to stay very liquid as long as possible with your commission, and then they'll pay you out, right? So it's kind of cool, because if you have like 20 agents, think about it, guys. If you have 20 agents, they're all producing like 10 grand a month. That's like over $200,000 in commissions, right? It's kind of cool to be able to do whatever you want as a company with $200,000 in commission for 8 days before you pay it out, right? I mean, so it's like a free interest-free loan that you're giving them in a sense, right? So guys, I don't like that, because it's like, as apartment locators, we already wait 1 week to 2 weeks to 4 weeks to 5 weeks for our checks to come in. So if you're adding another 8 days on top of that, I mean, you know, I'm not interested. That's in your interest, broker, not in my interest as an agent. So then bounce, right? So there shouldn't be any kind of check holding periods at all. The other thing is, so we talked about the check holding periods. The other thing about selecting a broker is, you know, don't get scammed like, oh, we train you the best, right? The whole entire reason I do YouTube and try to help apartment locators for free, and I'm in the middle of perfecting, I'm reviewing the final Duck Hunter course like for the 6th time, just to make sure everything's perfect. But the reason I'm offering an apartment locating course, because as you guys probably know, there's no options online, right? There's no one actually teach you this stuff in the right way, right? You can't just go get an apartment locating course somewhere, and initially when you study and you get your real estate license, there's no apartment locating section. It's all like traditional real estate, and then you pass the test, as you probably know if you're a licensed real estate agent, right? So there's no help and there's no language on apartment locating in general. It's one of the reasons I'm happy to help you guys for free on YouTube, right? And so the thing is, you know, with this training, right, remember, the industry that we're in, apartment locating, you know, it's so traditional in the sense that like no one markets in the right way, right? You know, if you want to look into companies that market the right way, you go study e-commerce businesses, right? They utilize sales funnels, they utilize targeted paid advertisements, you know, they utilize optimization tactics, and that works fantastic. But those are modern ways to market, right? Targeted Facebook ads, Instagram ads, pixel management, retargeting ads, retargeting campaigns, making new campaigns after people watch like 50% or more of your videos, so you know they're relevant, and then you're utilizing the Google Analytics and the Facebook Pixel to get together, cross-referencing data, and then making data-driven decisions. That's fantastic marketing, but no one does that with apartment locating, right? So I try to teach that in the course, right? These brokers I see that run apartment locating businesses, they have traditional websites. They don't know what a sales funnel is, which is terrible for any kind of business, right? They don't know what targeted ads are. They don't know what a pixel is. So it's like, how much good training, or what are you going to justify, right? If no one's teaching you the real ways to market like a true duck hunter, it's like, how are you, okay, what's your training like? I'm going to sit next to an agent, you're going to do some calls in front of me? Come on, you know? So the point is that the training in our industry, traditionally, when you sign up with a broker, it's not optimal anyhow, right? And so And that's not saying that brokers can't train you well. They can, but I mean, ask them, right, guys? I mean, don't take my word for it. Go when you interview your brokers, say, hey, are you going to teach me about targeted ads like Google? Are you going to teach me about pixel management? What about remarketing campaigns? Is that going to be part of my training as a locator? Because guys, these are the best way to attract leads. So if they don't know what you're talking about, bounce. Don't be sponsored by that broker, or just expect that there's going to be not optimal training, right? And so tell them, right? Are you going to help me set up an automatic email software where I can build my organic text list and email list and then market people that way, and then build my ManyChat, messenger on Facebook so I can reach people that way? If the answer is no, they're not going to train you well, right? So the point is, get sponsored, but don't actually, don't pay a lot, right? Don't pay a lot if they're not going to really train you, right? The point is, guys, in my honest opinion, a broker should never be taking more than $2,000 a month of your commission, right? Brokers are gonna I'm gonna get a hit. There's gonna be a hit out on me, right? Because brokers are gonna be like, who is this freaking person? Real estate duck hunter is like trying to kill our business model. But that's just my honest opinion, right? Like, brokers shouldn't take more than $2,000 out of your commission, right? Even if they do offer a desk. It's just a lot of money, right? And when you can always work remote, there's always some broker that'll sponsor you remote, for $1,000 or less, so it's cheaper for you, and then you can get your duck hunt on remotely from the comfort of your home, right, guys? So don't get scammed into we have great training, right? And don't get scammed into that. Look for the checklist that we just went over. How long are you going to hold my check? What does your collections department look like? Are you actually located off the access road? So I know at least if everything else fails, I'll get organic walk-in traffic. Look after that, guys. And then how presentable is the building? Because remember, guys, apartment locating in real estate in general can be sort of an emotional roller coaster, and it's all about how you feel whenever you perform on the job. It's about your mindset, how you feel. Are you positive? Because that goes a long way with closing people, right? So if you're going to go to some office that's old, they don't clean it, it's dusty floors, you're breathing in dust all day when you're apartment locating, I mean, you're not going to perform well. You're not going to hunt enough ducks, right? So you want to make sure that if you decide to go to an office, make sure it's clean so you feel good, right? And you got that positive vibe so you can make some money. So guys, those are my thoughts on selecting your broker. I mean, what it comes down to is I would just, if it were me again, I would just work remote, right? I would just pay as low as I can, work remote. I would probably learn real marketing tactics, market myself, get my own leads, close my own clients from the comfort of my home, and pay the least amount possible just to be sponsored and have an active license. That's my advice, right, guys? And so I hope you appreciated that video, duck hunters. Please give me more video ideas in the comments below so I can go over things for you. And let's get to this duck hunting.